Judge Andrew Napolitano joins us. He is Fox News senior judicial analyst and the man of the hour here at The Independent. So let's talk about some of the modern day government secrets that are wilder than any conspiracy theorist could have imagined 15 years ago.
Well, you know, the CIA was founded in 1947 as a result of a lot of different successful intelligence activity in World War II. And its charter says that its job is to steal secrets. Steal secrets means keep secrets as well. One of the secrets that they keep is that they have become the president's private army. And the president utilizes CIA assets, which are formidable, and their hardware is as formidable as the United States military's, to wage private and, depending upon how aggressive the press wants, to get secret wars. We know of wars in Pakistan because we know of the reaction to those wars when the drones hit. We know of some of the wars in Yemen. We don't know of other wars. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't know where the other wars are. But the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America regularly, consistently, and systematically is dispatched by the president to kill people. And the legal
and not
theory...
just this president.
No, correct. Absolutely. This goes back to Eisenhower. The legal theory under which it is done is a statute which basically says the requirement that only Congress can declare war is somehow compensated for when the president informs the leadership of the House and Senate Intelligence Committees what he's doing, and they informally say yes. Now, this is radically unconstitutional because the power to declare war cannot be delegated by Congress to a committee of Congress, and it certainly can't be transferred by Congress to the President of the United States. So by not calling it a war, but it's a war in every other respect, its job is to use violence to topple a government. But not declaring it war, the Congress gets around the declaration of war requirement that only it can do it.
What's the constitutional or legality behind keeping all of this stuff secret? I mean, the CIA's budget has been historically a secret.
Edward Snowden,
the number of employees is a secret. Is there any constitutionality behind that?
No. No, there's no constitutionality behind it.
Or case law or something?
Well, no, there's no case law.
Should they be spying on Dianne Feinstein's computer?
Well, we're going to see how angry she is very soon when we see how much of the report on torture has been redacted and how much of her committee's report on torture has been redacted and how much of her committee's report on torture has not been redacted. We know that major players in the Bush administration, from General Hayden to John Rizzo, who was general counsel of the CIA for many years, are furious either at what's in that report or at what they expect to be in that report, and that of their inability, because of Senator Feinstein won't let them, to review the report before it becomes public.
As a matter of law, what things ought the government be keeping secret? What are they allowed to keep secret?
Well, as a matter of law, nothing. I myself would allow the same exception to the natural law that the modern-day originator of natural law, modern day, St. Thomas Aquinas, would, and that is to save a human life. So the government can keep secret that which is necessary in order to bring about the immediate safety of a human life. But otherwise, the people have the right to know everything. Unless the consent of the governed phrase in the Declaration of Independence is just Jefferson's wild musings. It means what it says. If it means what it says, then the government can't know more than we know, unless it's to save an innocent human life. That I would grant, and only for the duration of time necessary to save the life.
Okay, so quickly, we know that it's really easy to dispel these secrets thanks to people like Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning. Why does the government bother trying in this day and age? Because they're trying to keep so many right now.
Well, the government does not, in my view, want to justify to people like us, media, and people generally skeptical of government. That's the four of us and the many people watching this show right now. The government does not want to be in a position where it must justify to people like us what it has done. That's why there have been so few trials of the people in Gitmo. The government is terrified that we will learn the circumstances under which those people were arrested, the circumstances under which they were interrogated, the creeps, crawlers, bruisers, and bedwetters that the government got into bed with in order to accomplish its ends. And that's why it keeps secrets.
The government spends a lot of time and a lot of money hiding stuff from you and me, but how much should we care? There are costs to keeping all of these programs hush-hush, and it affects more than the bottom line, believe it or not. And thanks to Edward Snowden, we now know the cost of intelligence. They try to keep that secret, too. So what's the total bill? Julian Sanchez joins us. He's a senior fellow at the Cato Institute. Julian, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
So what is the cost? What's the bottom line? How much are we spending on intelligence and keeping things secret?
So for 2013, that's the last sort of total numbers we have between the military intelligence program and the national intelligence program. It added up to about $72 billion in 2013. I think because of the sequester, that got actually knocked down to about $68 billion. But it's somewhere in the low 70 billions total, basically every year for the last few years. It peaked in 2010 at about 80 billion and has been modestly declining since then.
And that was a federal department that would rank, I think, something like in the top 5 in terms of annual budget.
Yeah, it is a non-trivial set of costs, and until very recently, a completely secret number. I mean, until really just a few years ago, even the total aggregate budget we spent on intelligence was classified, was something the public could not know.
That's insane to me. I mean, we should know, even if we don't know the details of what they're doing, a lot of it, perhaps we should know, at least we should be able to look at a spreadsheet.
You would think. I mean, you think about how wasteful government agencies are when they're not able to hide their spending behind a veil of secrecy. I mean, you guess how efficient that spending probably is.
Yeah, with that much money on the line, I mean, accountability and transparency, you can't have one without the other, quite frankly, become really, really important. So to that end, we get this thing from the Information Security Oversight Office, an annual report to the president, which apparently gives us some numbers on the actual number of classified documents. I looked at this thing. I had a difficult time trying to parse it out. 58,000 documents that were or original classification decisions, but then they start to talk about declassification, and they're only talking about it in terms of pages. Is it pages? Is it incidences? How on earth do we wrap our hands around how much information is being classified and kept from us?
I mean, it's difficult to quantify precisely because, in fact, it's so secret. They switched probably from decisions to pages for a couple of reasons. One is that a decision is required to classify something, but a lot of documents over time just sort of expire into the public domain, so to speak. It doesn't mean they're automatically released, but they're automatically declassified. So if you look at some of the Snowden documents that are floating around on the internet, you'll see somewhere on the bottom on a lot of them, declassify on some date in 2035. Also because people use email now, didn't use email before. That means a lot of the time a classified email exchange will just be pages and pages, the last 10 messages going back and forth. So the number of pages is like a hard,
it's hard to quantify those. I want to talk quickly about, we've talked about the cost in dollars. What are some of the other costs associated with keeping things secret? I mean, you talk about journalism and commerce.
Sure. I mean, so commerce is the one that you can at least sort of try to quantify. Forrester Research, the consulting firm, guessed or estimated that the U.S. cloud computing sector stands to lose something on the worst case scenario up to $180 billion in global revenue over a period of about 3 years. And that's just cloud computing. I think about companies like Cisco. We talked a while back about reports of their routers being intercepted and installed with bugs and spyware. They reported, I think, about a 10% drop in revenue one quarter. And that's very much localized in countries that are upset about surveillance. So orders were down something like 25% from Brazil, 18% from China. Even stuff totally unrelated to computing. I mean, Brazil basically awarded a contract to Saab over Boeing, a plane contract that was worth $4.5 billion, and that was reported to be at least significantly in part because of diplomatic blowback from the NSA revelations. So significant, potential losses there. Surveys have shown that about a quarter of British and Canadian companies have already started moving data elsewhere because of privacy concerns. Other surveys have shown huge numbers of IT personnel are talking about getting data out of the U.S.
It's not that rad, and journalists have suffered, business people suffer, those who own businesses and those who are trying to buy certain products. Your choices are diminished when other countries get involved and decide that they don't want our products because we've kept too many secrets. Julian, thank you so much.
Thank you.